One good morning, you find me at Patterson River again, just picking up a boat from Powermaster Marine at Patterson Lakes, where we had some work done to it. Alright, let me give you the story of this boat as we're heading down the river. I'm just going to do it, pull no punches, because I'm kind of a bit annoyed by this one. This is a very classic case of right owners, maybe not the right boat, and going in a bit blinkers on. Okay, so I met these owners in my capacity as a boating instructor. Lovely people, awesome. I think they'll probably be in their late 50s, early 60s. And when I met them, I sort of looked at the boat and went, okay. And they've sort of gone, well, let's look at a boat worth this much and see what we can get. And that's what they've done. They've set a budget and they're probably gone looking for boats at that sort of, around that figure, and then gone, oh, well, that will do us. But where my spidey senses started tingling was when it was mentioned that there wasn't a pre-purchase inspection, because the dealer told it was that it was his own boat. He owned it. He probably did own it because he'd taken it as a trade-in or something, so he did own it. So their assumption was, because it was the dealer's own boat and they were using it and taking their family on it, that it would be a good boat. I don't know about your international audience, but there's an old saying, the mechanic's car, the last car they'll ever work on is their own. So this boat, when we got it first to servicing, it was in a state of, I think, just going. And the first service, which was supposed to be a service schedule, there was a lot of issues found. I think he ended up spending close to $30,000 on rectification works. It's just gone in for its second service after, well, a bit long, probably left a bit long between services, but it's gone in for a second service, and we're now looking at about $20,000 worth of work, which includes things like timing case cover, leaky oil, had to pull the engine out, do some things on the stern, the shaft drives this one. And it's an imported boat, I believe, what we call a grey import, where it's been brought in from the States. So giveaway for that is the fuel fillers say gas instead of petrol, and there's a 240 to 110 conversion. So yeah, so it's probably a bit of a grey import. Now, I was talking to the owner 2-3 days ago saying, Monday's the day I'm going to pick up your boat. And I said, what's your plan for boating? And he's like, well, I think I'm going to sell this one. And I'm like, okay, well, what does it look like for the next one then? And he's like, oh, Ned, to be quite honest with you, I think that's our boating journey done. And having worked with these people who are just absolutely lovely, love their environment, love being out in the water, they just, when they're out on the water, they absolutely love every minute of it. They think it's fabulous. The boat represented what they needed it to do, but they sort of, I don't think they really fully understood what they needed to spend. I don't think it's a matter of them not having the wherewithal to do so. I think it's just people look at these boats and they go, oh, well, that looks pretty good and it looks reasonably inexpensive, I'll give that a go. So he's spent probably close to 50 on it now. I was just talking to a more reputable broker. They are out there. Yeah, so there are some good ones. And I was saying to him, what do you think this boat's worth? And he goes, oh, look, on a good day, considering its age, considering shaft drive, considering it's inboard petrol, and basically what the market is doing, I'd say 60 on a good day, 70. So I now have to go and tell that to the owner of the boat and say, in all seriousness, the boat, you can put it on the market for like 80, and hopefully someone will buy it while you're using it over this summer, because now we've got it to a point where it's actually usable, it's workable, and it's a going concern at this point. The sad thing about it is that now these people who absolutely love the water, I've worked with friends of theirs and other boats. After being out, those beautiful days, we went out with them on the 50-foot boat, and that would have been their inspiration, is to buy this boat and go, oh, we're going to have some great fun, we have some summers on it and all that sort of thing. But so far it has basically just felt like, I'm pretty sure it's just felt like a big 30-foot hole in the water you throw money into. And unfortunately, they haven't got their return on lifestyle. They've, yeah, basically just ended up with someone else's problems, and an easy flip for a broker. So, right owner, wrong boat. So what's the right boat for them? Well, looking at their use caseage, I would say it would be possibly maximum 30 foot. It would be something like a Palm Beach 32. And I'm not just saying that because I like them, I'm saying that because I think that it appeal to them. Maybe a little Riv 3000, if they're looking at that sort of less expensive second-hand market, but a really good example of a Riv 3000. It'd have to be mint. And when I say it'd have to be mint, it's basically you need to buy, if you're buying a boat that's this vintage, like late 90s, early 2000s boats, you need to look at the service record, and it has to have a service record. And also you need to look at it from the point of view, has this boat been owned under preventative maintenance or fix it when it breaks? And you'll hear me say that again and again and again. I'm sorry I repeat myself often, but it's just so important, because you go into a boat like this and go, oh, well, I can fix a few things up, there's just a little bit to do. I remember the story about the yacht that the owner was told, oh, to get this ready to go offshore outside the heads, you probably spend about, $7,000 to $10,000. I gave him a estimated budget of restoring the boat to a point where any one of our skippers that we work with would take the boat up the east coast of Australia. That budget was anywhere from $70,000 to $100,000. Yeah, 7 or 10 grand to fix it up, mate. Anyway, so it's not a lie, it's a sort of portion of the truth. There were certain things that you get done for that $7,000 to $10,000, but personally, $7,000 to $10,000 would not have made that particular boat ready for outside the heads. So let's go back to this one. All the right motivation, all the right idea. It actually, if it was a really good, reliable, serviceable thing, it now is reliable and serviceable because it's had all this work done to it. But now they've done all this, they're like, that's it, the boating dream's over for them. And that really that breaks my heart, because our whole business purpose is helping people enjoy boating. And this is one of the places where I meet people after the fact. When I walk on and say, oh, can you send me a copy of the survey? Oh, we didn't do a survey. The insurance, we did a survey. Oh, you got an insurance risk assessment. Yep. How about a pre-purchase inspection? No, we didn't do one of those. It all seemed pretty right and straightforward. For the price, we got it for a good price. And that's it. So what really gets me, and this is where I'm going to get a little bit angry, is this sort of mindset of like, oh yeah, mate, I'll sell a few boats, maybe you win some, maybe you lose some, some guys will come back to you, other guys won't come back to you. It all works out at the end of the day, it all washes out in the wash, mate. You don't make friends with everyone, some people are going to get pissed off with you, but it's their responsibility, they've taken the boat, that's just it, mate. It's now their thing, it's now their problem, not mine. If you're looking at this and that's in your mindset, even in the slightest, remember this, ladies and gentlemen, without boat owners, our industry is effed. It's done. And I can guarantee you, from like Tourism Victoria survey done in 2000, I think it was like 2004, they found that people who have had a good time will go out of their way to mention it to 5 of their friends, right? People who have had a bad time in tourism will go out of their way to mention it to up to 20 people, the horrible situation they had. But I think what's happening a bit too is that people are so upset and demoralised and feel like it's their fault that they didn't do the right thing, buying a boat and all that. They keep it to themselves. And they don't go out there and go, you know what, I feel a bit like I've been fleeced, because I walked into something outside of my knowledge, but the person who was dealing the boat let me walk into it. Now, if you had said to someone, look, you're going to buy this boat, it's going to cost you 80,000 or 60,000 or whatever thousand, but look, I think to get it to where it needs to be, look, it's going to be about 50, sort of 50 plus. or 30 to 50 to get it where it needs to be. If someone went in with that, went, oh yeah, okay, I can see that, no worries. Oh, thanks for that, cool. Why just let people walk into stuff? And also, once again, it's on you as the owner to assess whether the boat is fit for seagoing, whether the boat is fit. Okay, so that's basically it. Sorry for getting a little bit irate there, but it just frustrates me so much. Some of you say, well, it should have been the owner should have done this, and the owner should have done that, and rah rah. You know, you might come back at me with a bit of flack, but come at me, whatever. But the reality is that if you're looking at a boat and you're not sure, or you're feeling overexcited about it, and it all seems too good to be true, it probably is. So do your homework, find someone to help you out, and get it done once, get it done right. If you need to spend a few dollars more to get a boat that's going to be more reliable, just do it. But work with someone, and yeah, I'm going to say work with someone like me, or let us find you someone to work with if you're in another state or in another part of the world. That's fully independent of the sales process. That's completely independent. That is 100% on your side of the spectrum. Your secret weapon in the background, if it has to be. Like if a dealer's like, oh no, I'll talk to you. I'm not going to talk to them. No. Bing, alarm bell should be going off already. If they're like, yeah, no, bring them, that'd be really good. We'd really like their input and their feedback, and yeah, that's great. So when we're doing the skipper's walkthrough or the captain's walkthrough with you, it's just so important. I mean, it's a lifestyle decision, and you're going to feel more burnt by this. And I think the reason that this feedback is maybe part of this feedback doesn't get back out into like the Tourism Victoria numbers that I talked about before, is that people feel like demoralised by the process, and they go, oh, I don't really want to share that story of how I stuffed up buying a boat. But you didn't stuff up buying a boat. You didn't stuff up buying a boat. You went to buy a boat for all the right reasons. You've done it so many times with cars. Sometimes you might get a car, oh, this isn't quite what I wanted, but you know, it's a car, it's going to do me for the next however long, and it'll be fine. But on a boat, you know, just you owe it to yourself to do it once, do it right, get it right. If you're going to start with a smaller boat and work your way up, that's fine, but start with good boats from the start. It's just too much out there that's cannon fodder. And if a boat if it gets to a point where a boat falls beyond being insurable, not seaworthy, insurable. If it's not insurable like that from the day you buy it, like bang, there's an insurance, it's done, we're good, walk away. Please, for the love of your own and my sanity, if the boat is not insurable, just walk away, because I can pretty much guarantee that thing has been owned under fix it when it breaks, and it's cactus, and you're going to spend a monster on it. Recently I saw someone who said, oh, I've just bought a yacht, and they wanted $50,000 for it, but our measurement budget was $30,000, and the rig was over 10 years old. Going, mate, we got insurance, but now the insurance company's looking for insurance risk assessment, and it's an old timber yacht. And I'm like, it's pretty good, the hull's good, all that's good, but mate, there's a fair chance is you're going to have to do the redo the rig. So there's a fair chance is this insurance company will turn around and go, that's great, but before we insure it for sailing, we're going to need you to redo the standing rigging. And on a vessel of 34 feet or 32 feet, that can be anywhere from $7,000 to $15,000, and their budget is like, they've maxed their budget out at $30,000. So they possibly should have maxed their budget at $20,000, and they're gone up. It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm talking about, you know, for some people in boating, that's kind of smaller change. But for these people, it's like, it's all a massive investment in lifestyle. And it doesn't matter if it's a $20,000 boat, $200,000 boat, $2 million boat, $20 million boat, it's the same MO. You've just got to go, okay, well, if it's second hand, I'm going to keep 20 to 20 to 30% aside of my budget. If I don't spend it, woohoo! I've got lots of fuel money, and I've got this, and I've got. If you peak out your budget, you kind of, in a lot of cases in the second-hand market, you're kind of doomed from the start. And this is why I think owner buy advocacy is such a big thing. And yes, it is working with dealers and brokers, and yes, it is keeping some of them honest, but most of them, you know, they're there to do something on a commission, so make them work for it. Anyway, that's my piece. It's I certainly hope we don't lose these people to a bad sales process and buy and sale pain and all the pain they've had to spend on the boat, because that's the thing. If you were spending that $50,000 and you knew you had to spend $30,000 to fix the boat up, you go, okay, 30 grand, that's what I need to spend on this boat to get it right, and then okay, that's fine. But if you bought a boat and then gone, oh, I've got 20 or 30% of on top of the budget, or you know, in my budget I've got 30% buffer in there to tweak things and fix things, but you look for a good boat from the start, it doesn't mean you can go, oh, I'm going to buy that because it's, you know, it's $50,000, but the boats that it's $1 million, but most of those boats new, mate, they're worth 5 million, 6 million. This one's only worth 750. Really? I've seen it. Like, I've seen people buying, you know, what would be a replacement boat for 4 million for like 600,000. Wow, you know, it's just a bigger bill, a bigger repair bill is coming their way. And when they've stretched their budget to that point, it's like, that's just not cool. So I think I summed it up perfectly when talking to a family, and they were looking at this big boat, and it was like just massively looked cheap, and it did look cheap, and I hadn't even got out of the engine room before I said, oh, maybe we should go and have a quiet discussion. Like, I'd only just done the engine room checks, and I hadn't even looked at the cosmetics. I'm like, we need to go and have a chat. And they were so excited about the whole prospect, and I can fix this up, I'm a carpenter, and I know a mate, I've got a mate, and I'm like, okay, great. This boat, you can buy it for this much, it's still going to cost you 5 times more than what you spend on it. And I reckon the first 3 times more of what you spend on it is going to be get it to an insurable level. Yeah, the fact that it actually has insurance on it at the moment is surprising. It's absolutely surprising to me. But anyway, I know I'm rambling, and I know it's frustrating, and I'm going all over the place, but that's where my head is at the moment. But also we're going to release the boats method. The boats method is the method we use to help people find boats and not end up with this scenario where they've just got a boat to where it should be, and now they're selling it because they're like, it's just all too much. Please, if you're on YouTube, subscribe, like, and share. Share it with people so that, you know, yes, it helps us, but we just want to help people enjoy boating. Okay guys, happy boating. Bye for now.